Welcome to class. And today we are going to be learning about the sewing what machine. And we are going to be talking on what are sewing machine, the types of sewing machine, the parts of a sewing machine, especially the treadle sewing machine, and ways to care for sewing what machine. Now, what are sewing machine? Sewing machine is what is a mechanically what device that the needle is driven mechanically. So it's a mechanically what driven what needle. Unlike the one we use our hands, our needle and our thread to make stitches on our what on our clothes. For this one, the needle has a mechanism that enables it to make stitches on the what the clothes. Types of sewing machine. We have three types of sewing machine. We have the treadle sewing machine, the handle sewing machine, and the electric sewing machine. Now, treadle sewing what machine? As you can see in the picture, the machine is on top of a wood, and that wood is what we call the bed, and the stand that holds it is what the treadle stand, and the machine what we call it what the head, because that's the machine is what itself. And the mechanism of action of the treadle machine involves the use of our what our foot. So you immediately use your foot to pedal the treadle stand. Your stitches will be made on what your clothes. The handle sewing what machine. Handle sewing machine involves the use of a table or what a flat surface. It doesn't have a stand that you use for holding it to the floor. You have to place it on a table or a flat surface, and you use your hand to what to make the what stitches. As you are rolling the handle, the needle what is forming stitches on your what clothes. Electric sewing machine. Electric sewing machine involve the use of what an electric motor, meaning it's being plugged to what an electricity. So without the use of electricity it can't function. There's a pedal to place your foot. Unlike the treadle, you don't pedal it, you just place your foot on the pedal and you plug the electric motor to the electricity and you start forming stitches. So the faster you want it to form stitches, the harder you press on the pedal, which is at the base or on the floor. Now, part of what a sewing machine. And in discussing about the parts of a sewing machine, we are going to be watching a video that would give us more insight and light on what the parts of a sewing machine.
Sewing machine. The invention of the sewing machine was great progress in dressmaking since sewing became faster, seam was more durable, and stitches were evener. The main feature of sewing with the machine is the use of top and lower thread, which is interlinked in stitching progress. A sewing machine may be operated by hand, treadle, or electric motor. Good work can be done in a hand machine, but it is slower than a treadle, which leaves also both hands free to manipulate the fabric. The electric machine uses an electric motor. In this topic, let us see the treadle sewing machine parts. Treadle sewing machine parts. Let us see the treadle sewing machine parts. It consists of three major portions. Head portion is the heart of the sewing machine. The parts of the head are shown. Thread guide holds the thread in position from the spool to the needle. Tension disc. It is a simple mechanism where two concave discs are put together with the converse sides facing each other. Here, the thread passes between the two discs and the tension of the thread is adjusted by a spring and a nut, which increases or decreases the pressure on the disc. Take-up lever. It is fitted to the body of the arm, which receives its up and down motion from the front. At the outside end of the lever, there is a small hole through which the thread passes. There are two functions of this lever: to feed the thread to the needle, to tighten the loop formed by the shuttle. Face plate. It is a removable side cover which gives access to the oiling points on needle bar, pressure bar and thread take-up. Needle bar. It is a steel rod which holds the needle at one end with the help of the clamp. Presser foot. It is attached to the presser bar and it holds the cloth firmly in position when lowered. Bobbin case. It moves into position to catch the top thread and forms the stitch as the needle is lowered into the bobbin chamber. Presser foot lifter. It is a lever attached to the presser bar for raising and lowering the presser foot. Stitch regulator. It controls the length of the stitch. Some regulators can be set to stitch in reverse. Bobbin winder. It facilitates the winding of thread on the bobbin. When the flywheel is made to rotate, it works the mechanism of the machine. Stop motion screw. It is in the center of the flywheel and it engages and disengages the stitching mechanism. Slide plate. It is a rectangular plate that can be slide open to remove or insert the bobbin case. Needle plate or throat plate is a semicircular plate with a hole to allow the needle to pass through it. Feed dog. It consists of a set of teeth fitted below the needle plate. It helps to move the cloth forward while sewing needles. The upper part of the needle is called the shank. The lower part is called the shaft. One side of the shank is flat and the other side is round. On the round side is the groove, which guides the thread while forming the stitch and protects it against excessive friction. The eye of the needle is just above the sharp point. And in general, the needles have different points, each designed for a particular type of fabric. The most commonly used are sharp points for woven fabric, extra fine points for twill, denim and heavy leather fabric, and ballpoint for knit and stretch fabrics. And also, the needle's sizes range from 8 to 19. When selecting the needle, remember that finer the weight of the fabric and thread, the finer the needle should be. Conclusion. Thus, knowing the basic parts of the sewing machine makes it easier to practice and can help you to stitch the clothing in a proper way. Summary. Having understood the basic parts of the sewing machine, let's do a small recap. They are thread guide, tension disc, take-up lever, face plate, needle bar, presser foot, bobbin case, presser foot lifter, stitch regulator, bobbin winder, stop motion screw, slide plate, feed dog, needles.
And now we are going to be talking about care for what or sewing what machine. Firstly, what you do for the sewing machine, you cover your sewing machine after use. Before and after use, you oil your sewing machine. Firstly, like I said, you cover your sewing machine when not in use. Then oil of our sewing machine. You oil your sewing machine before and after use. Then we have changing of needles regularly. You don't wait for the needle to break or have an issue before you change the needles, because if the needles are not changed, it might affect your stitches that is being formed on the fabric. So you change your needles. Then we have use of compressed air to remove lint, meaning dust. You don't use clothes to remove it, you use hair. You can blow it off, not carrying a rag to remove the dust. We have annual servicing, meaning you don't wait for it to break down, for it to be having issues before you service. You service with what interval, like 2-3 months depending. You take it for what servicing. Then you find an experienced professional to what repair your what machine. Don't give it to a quack, but someone that knows about the sewing what machine. And we are going to be watching a video that will tell us in details how to oil, how to care for the sewing machine, and how to fit or what a thread. This is an handle sewing what machine, an electric sewing machine, and a treadle sewing machine. And now we are going to be watching on how to what care for our sewing machine, how to what clean it. Firstly, you unscrew the faceplate and remove it carefully. Remove it carefully. You can see how dirty it is inside, dust particles everywhere. Everywhere is what dusty. You don't use a spray. Instead, you get a cutting board, a clean cutting board, and gently clean each of the iron gently. This is the needle bar. So clean it carefully. That's how you clean all of them one by one, gently, till you are done cleaning them. So you can see the cutting board is dirty, to tell you that actually it's dirty. Then this is engine oil for a sewing machine. Now oiling the sewing machine, 2 or 3 drops is enough. Just place 2 or 3 drops on each of the nuts, each of the screw. Firstly, after cleaning the face plate, you oil each of them, the nuts, the screw. Oil them gently and carefully. Remember I said 2 or 3 drops. After oiling, you check to see if it's free enough. Then if it's free enough, you cover back the faceplate and screw it back. Then this is the balance wheel, where it's being regulated. That's where the regulation of the balance wheel is. You can see it here. What do? You oil 2 or 3 drops. You oil the nuts, 2 or 3 drops. Carefully oil it. And remember I said after oiling, you test and check if it's free enough. You can see it's free and is gliding and is moving. Then you get a wet cloth, not the one that is dripping water. Then you clean the arm of the machine. You clean the arm carefully. You clean the bed with the wet cloth that is dried. Then after that, you turn the machine over. You can see from here we have the bobbin compartment. This is the bobbin compartment. You oil it 2 or 3 drops, and that's how you oil it carefully and gently. Just put 2 or 3 drops around it in each of the corner and test to see if it's free enough. Anytime you oil, you check if it's free enough. You move it. You read the balance wheel so that the oil will we get to all the areas of the bobbin compartment. And this is the bobbin case. Inside the bobbin case is the bobbin with a thread. Cleaning the bobbin, you use a dry rag, a piece of dry cloth to clean it. Then after that, you carefully fit back the bobbin case into the bobbin compartment. And you oil the bobbin case too. 2 or 3 drops also. Then you turn the machine over like I said. You start oiling all the nuts in each of the machine. The bottom of it, you oil carefully and gently. Remember I said 2 or 3 drops is enough. Don't pour the oil, just a drop, 2, 3. That's how you oil it carefully till you are done oiling the machine. And after oiling, remember you test run it. You test it to check if it's free enough, because that's the use of the oil. We oil so that it will be free, so that the machine will sew freely, and you yourself you enjoy the fact that you are sewing with a good and healthy machine. Then coming to the machine itself, the arm, you see some holes like you can see in the picture. 2 or 3 drops. Same, you put in all of them, all the holes, 2 or 3 drops. That's how you oil it down. Then you put drops too on the arm of the machine and use a dry cloth to shine it so that it's looking fine. As you can see, it's shining and looking as if it's a brand new machine. That's how you do it. Drops on the bed too and clean up so it's looking sparkly and shining. Then this is the balance wheel. The balance wheel. You clean it also. You clean also. Then after that, you can see she wants to fix a thread. Firstly, you place your thread in the spool pin, which is at the arm of the machine. Then you pass it through the tension disc. Then thirdly, you pass it through the take up lever, the hole in the take up lever. You pass it through the take up lever. Then you pass it through the eye of the needle. Remember we said that the needle has a eye. That's the eye of the needle. You pass the thread through the eye of the needle. Then you drop your presser foot. Drop your presser foot. Then you start making stitches. But in this case, this machine is using an electric motor. You plug the electric motor, that's for an electric sewing machine. You plug it to electricity and start performing your stitches. If it's for handle, you don't plug. If it's for treadle, you start pedaling with your legs. So that's how to care and treadle and tread our So hope you've learned a lot from this class. Goodbye.